There once was a puppy named Bubbins. All he wanted was belly rubbins. He grew up in a house where his owners were mean. He barely ate and was never kept clean. Bubbins did tricks and he behaved each day, but when he'd roll over for belly rubbins, they'd shoo him away. But Bubbins always believed and continued to say, "I'm going to get a loving family one day." To the corner, they said, where he sat quiet and sad, no one rubbing his belly, though he hadn't been bad. Bubbins laid on the hard floor, and he cried and cried, until his owner pointed and yelled, "Get outside!" But Bubbins always believed and continued to say, "I'm going to get a loving family one day." Bubbins lived outside for nearly 10 years, but somehow stayed loving despite his fears. Lonely and forgotten was the 10-year-old Bubbins, no one to love him or give him belly rubbins. But Bubbins always believed and continued to say, "I'm going to get a loving family one day." One sunny morning, Bubbins awoke to find his gate left open. He'd never been outside the yard, but his spirit was unbroken. Walking down the street, people to the left and the right, a nice man saw Bubbins and decided to treat him right. "Hey there, little buddy, you've got no parents or collar. I'm gonna take you to the shelter, so please don't holler." At the shelter, a very thankful Bubbins lived for nearly a year. People passing by the proud old dog, with Bubbins shedding only a tear. But Bubbins always believed and continued to say, "I'm going to get a loving family one day." Bubbins never gave up, and one day a young couple appeared, a woman with a friendly smile and a big man with a beard. The woman turned to the man and said with a sigh, "I can't help but feel bad for this poor little guy. He's been through so much, and still, look at that happy face. He deserves a home. Let's get him out of this place." Bubbins jumped to his feet as the door swung open, tail wagging so fast, he was finally chosen. As he looked back at the shelter, he saw all the volunteers gathered. Bubbins loved them so much because they showed him his life mattered. Bubbins' tongue flapped out the window the entire ride. The man and woman smiled and looked on with great pride. Arriving at his new home, Bubbins ran through the door. The first thing he saw were many new toys on the floor. A new family to show love, they named him Bubbins. He rolled on his back and they gave him belly rubbins.
Jason actually wasn't home when I got Gibson. He was found wandering the streets of Newark, not in great shape.
He's going himself.
Whoa! He was just like the most lovable dog from the second that I got him into our apartment.
Rescue dogs have an amazing ability for resilience. Gibson was laying on top of me.
Good morning.
His ears were clipped and he had scars all over his head, his neck, and his body. And I was just thinking to myself, how could anybody ever do this to him? I realized that we can spay, neuter, shelter, foster, and adopt, but until we educate, it won't stop. We want people to use the Bubbins book to start a real conversation about a real issue. We created the Bubbins Humane Education Workshops. We've educated over 6,000 kids in person, ranging all the way from pre-K to middle schoolers. We give back 51% of profits to rescues. Our second book launched on May 30th by the name of Belly Rubbins for Bubbins' First Day Home.
The second book picks up where the first book leaves off.
We really wanted to show that Bubbins, like many rescue dogs, summons the superhero within.